Welcome to the Brickie Experience. So glad that you're joining us today. And today we're going to be talking about resilience and reliability. And I have a very special Brickie alumni joining me today, and his name is Andy Thomas. Welcome, Andy.
Thanks for having me, Dr. Buffington.
Oh, my pleasure. And so today, Andy is going to be talking, well, first of all, he's an iron worker. I want to just pull up the screen so that we can talk a little bit about the iron workers. And he's representing the trades. A lot of the times our students are so interested in becoming a tradesman, and Andy is going to start by talking a little bit about his work in the trades. So Andy, what is your official title?
So my official title today is I'm the training director for Ironworkers Local 395 Apprenticeship Program, and we're located in Lake Station, Indiana.
All right, very good. And so I want to talk to our students today. You're representing the iron workers, and let's talk a little bit about your career field.
So our career field, the ironworker career, is, we do a lot of steel erection, which you see in that picture there. We do the rebar that goes into the concrete. The majority of our work is industrial maintenance and construction along the lakefront. So that's the steel mills, the BP refinery, powerhouses, all the bridge work that you see locally, the bridge girders that go in. Ironworkers set that, and then here in this building, when the new high school was built, ironworkers put the steel skeleton up, and then we put the rebar in the concrete. So I'm sure you're familiar with that.
Oh, I am. I can just tell you now, it was wonderful working with the trades as this building was going up. Cannot say enough about the hard work of the tradesmen and the quality of our high school. So thank you very much for that. So we're going to move into an area, because I know you recruit an apprentice, and I talk to our students all the time about their report cards. They're actually coming out, and their transcripts, and we talk about attendance, how important grades are, and behavior. When you're looking for an apprentice, and that's your job, you're looking for students to become a part of this program, what exactly do you look for?
So first of all, we're looking for a young person that's not afraid of hard work. The jobs are physical in nature, especially when you're an apprentice. You're going to be doing most of the heavy lifting and carrying and things like that. We're looking for people that show up every day and on time, and showing up even when you don't want to, right? There's always something else you might want to be doing, but when you come into, this isn't a job, it's a career. So those are some of the characteristics and traits we look for. And then when we look at like transcripts, I sat on the apprenticeship board for 8 years, and I was involved in the actual interviewing then. The first thing I looked at was attendance, attendance and tardiness, and it lets me know if you can show up on time. We can deal with, maybe not everybody learns the same, right?
Right.
So, some great tradespeople probably, didn't have the best grades, right? But, if you can show up and you're on time, we can work with that.
Right. So, I mean, I guess you're saying that you don't have to have straight A's,
Nope.
but showing up is everything.
Yes.
And so we talk to our students all the time about attendance and showing up and doing the best that you can to get the best grades, and discipline. Behavior is one of those things that we look at as well. So let's move into, because I met Andy as he was trying to recruit some of our students to become apprentice. And so, Andy, have you ever turned away any of our Brickie students?
So unfortunately, yes, there were two young men that I had met at a job fair that, I had high hopes for. Seemed to fit the bill, everything. And I was actually in the office when the one brought his transcripts in personally. And I want to say, I think I saw 28 absences and over 20 tardiness. And I told the young man right there, I says, well, you need to go get another job for a year and prove to us that you can show up every day and on time, and we'll consider you, but there's some growing up that needs to be done. These are careers that have, amazing wages and pension plans and health care, and, we don't give them out to just anyone.
Right. And I think that that's so important, because many of our students don't realize, particularly our high school students, that the transcript follows them, and it says a lot about them. Did they have discipline problems? What type of grades? And their attendance. And showing up is everything. And it's more than just coming to school, it's participating. And you can see that on a transcript. All right, so we're going to go back in time because sometimes we don't always make the best choices.
right.
And Andy basically wanted to share his story with the Brickies. And so I'm going to go back into high school. There's Andy as a Brickie.
No, that's not high school. That's 10 years ago. That's that reunion game.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so why am I thinking that? Okay, so that was a fun game,
That
though.
was a great game.
It really was. All right, so wearing your old number.
Yeah.
How exciting is
with
that?
Mom.
There you go.
Yeah.
She's lovely. What did you learn more than anything? What did you love about being a Brickie?
So, the relationships I made, here, going through school here, there are relationships that I still have, many, many relationships still to this day. Very close friends. Some I still talk to with, frequency, and some I don't, but, it's like, like people say, it's like you never skipped a beat. So,
Once a Brickie, always a Brickie.
And so that was probably the biggest thing. It was the friendships and the relationships and the close-knit community.
Sure, and I do believe that people, I mean, seriously, I don't care where I go. There's even people on Mount Rushmore that you run into Brickies, and they're so proud to be a Brickie. And I love that about our Brickie family. That's something really special. I'm going to get a little more into Andy's story because it's a great one, and everyone here needs to just hear his story. Where did you go to college?
So I went, my freshman year, I went to Purdue Calumet, and then my sophomore year, I attended Indiana University Bloomington.
Okay. And so, as Andy was sharing with me, he's going to share with you. I want you to tell our Brickies what happened at IU.
So while I was at Indiana University, I put, partying, put way too much emphasis on that and not nearly as much as I should have on my education. And, Indiana University asked me to go back home. I didn't
Yeah.
I didn't make the grades and wasn't going to class, and they said, you know what, there's no need for you here.
Right. So, when you were down there partying, and so he basically got kicked out because he wasn't doing what he was supposed to be doing while he was down there. Why the partying?
It's hard to really say. I could tell you that, looking back, one of the biggest reasons was social anxiety, not making excuses, but, I always didn't feel like I fit in. Having a beer in my hand for whatever reason kind of took that away. And that's where it started. It did not stop there, and it got worse over time. And I just, thank God that I was able to change it, get it under control, turn it around, and put that part of my life behind me.
Right. So I think when I'm talking to the Brickies here, because, that happened in college, but I happen to know that some of our students are experimenting with drugs and alcohol. Were your choices worth it, and what did you realize about it?
Yeah, they absolutely were not worth it. They cost me a college education. They cost some of my friends their lives. And, but in the moment, as a young person, it's hard sometimes to understand what decisions like that can turn into.
Right.
But it absolutely was not worth it.
Sure. And, I know parents of kids that have lost their lives, and I realize that they say that people don't really realize that you don't grow up thinking that you'll ever be an addict.
Right.
And so those are hard things that people have to learn, and I want to just thank you for sharing your story with us. And so when you realized that you weren't reliable, right? You just weren't reliable.
Many people had realized it long before I did.
There you go. All right.
Last to know.
There you go. So when this happened to you, what happened to get you back on track?
I guess it was just a culmination of just being miserable. I was sitting there, and for whatever reason, a moment of clarity, whatever you want to call it, I had just finally realized that, and looked at my life honestly and realized that, God didn't put me on this earth to be the person that I had become, and my parents certainly didn't raise me to be the person I had become. And right after that thought, I called my mother, told her that, I had an issue with drugs and alcohol, and we made a plan and moved forward, and from there on out, I've been able to put that behind me.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you reached out and you were able to get some help. And then all of a sudden now you're in ironworkers and you've demonstrated that you show up.
Yeah.
And
Even when I don't want to.
there you go. And you work hard.
I
You're
do.
Brickie.
Yep.
And so why is being reliable in both school and work so important?
I think for schoolwork, reliability, lends itself to a better understanding of the subject matter, which leads to a better education, which leads to better opportunities, which leads to just better life.
Yeah.
And in the work world, in your career, looking back as somebody that's been in supervision for a long time, it gives you a sense, what somebody being reliable at work did for me as a supervisor gave me a sense of ease, right? That I knew that the crew that I had or the people that I had were going to be there. They were going to show up. They were going to do what they were supposed to do. They were going to, follow the safety rules and things to keep from getting hurt. And, and that's really what people look for. And generally, if, that's the people that get promoted, through the ranks.
Right. So you completely had to turn your life around, and you did it. You demonstrated that you would show up, you were reliable. Can you describe a situation where your reliability made a significant difference for you and you were able to have success?
Sure. So it wasn't too long after I got sober, I went out on a project, and first I went back, saying that I did this, I know it's probably ease for conversation, but I just want to let be known that, a lot of people had a hand in turning my life around. But, I worked with a great group of guys that I always looked up to, and, just showing up on time every day, ready to go to work, letting my actions speak for me, not my words, that carries a lot more weight with people. And it wasn't long after that by being reliable, I was, I took a crew, so I became a foreman, and later on became a general foreman, and after that was able to go to work for an amazing company, BMWC Constructors, on that extremely large BP project, roughly I think 2012-ish, which led to me learning a whole bunch of amazing skills and things, and being able to work all over the United States, and then leaving there and spending 7 years in Minnesota, and just working on some of the cutting edge projects in this country. It was really an amazing experience.
Well, and I'm so proud of you because what your story shows is that you made some bad choices, you reached out for help, and then you worked so hard with your actions to show that you could do it. And now you're running this amazing apprenticeship program, and it offers so many opportunities to students. And so can you just talk to them that sometimes, the showing up, the reliability, but you also have to have resilience in life. And so what are some of the techniques that you used and continue to use to build resilience?
So for resilience, I think just knowing that, sometimes the outcome won't be what you wanted, whether you want to call that like missing the mark or failure or whatever personally you want to, name you want to give it. But, to just keep moving, to keep going. And to understand that a door may open that you didn't even know was there, that may be better than anything you ever imagined, and also just knowing that what I do a lot of times is if I have to make a big decision, or if it's a big decision every time, I invite other people to give me feedback, right? And I welcome feedback that doesn't align with mine. And then I'll generally, make a much better decision, much more informed decision. If I go to just try to make decisions on my own, they may be right, but sometimes they're a little more painful.
Your story is so incredible because I see you with some of our Brickies that did not actually make it into the program, and you said choices. So go out there, get that job. Show me that you can show up and you can have great attendance and you're going to work hard. Come back and see me. And really, that was you showing that I'm willing to help you.
Absolutely.
And so that's really kind of the story of your life. People helped you.
Product of a second chance.
There you go. Yeah. And it's really important for that. Talk about our Brickies that are in the apprenticeship program.
So I wish I had we have at least a dozen, and I should have written all their names down and give them a shout out, but they're excelling, I can tell you that, and I'm not just saying that. They're all doing amazing. They're our best recruiting tool. because you know, these young kids, you know, they know these people, you know, they're a few years older, but they know who they are. They know a brother or sister, and you know, and they see them, whether it's, you know, buying their first home or renting an apartment or whatever it is, right? Just entering the work world, and you know, people want that, right? So they're our best tool, and we're real proud of them. And I also want to say that Hobart High School is the bedrock for my recruiting, and I'll always hang my hat on that because I know what, you know, what comes here. I know
And
what's instilled.
What is a Brickie? What do Brickies do when they're in your?
They work hard.
They
you
work
know?
hard.
They work hard, and they get after it, and they're tough, and you know, and they're honest, and that's what we do.
That is fantastic. So, you know, this has really been a show to talk to you about the trades and how do you get into the trades, but it's also been a show to talk to you about choices. And, you know, everyone sometimes in their life may not make a good choice, but you don't want it to perpetuate. You want it to get better. And Andy is a terrific story of turning his life around. And so I want to talk to our Brickies about making good choices and always asking for help and knowing that you can be excellent on purpose and turn your life around. And so as we end this podcast, I can't thank you enough for being on my show.
Thank you.
Because the Brickies are proud of him too. And remember, all my life, I want to be a Brickie. Work, work, work.